ICTN is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. A lot has changed since we made our debut back in 1981. We thought it would be fun to look back at some clips. So between now and the end of the year, we're going to show you some of the stories from our early days. We begin in 1982 with Irving Week in Review, the news show that would later evolve into City Source.
Good evening, I'm Heather Brown. Here are some of the top stories from the week. President Ronald Reagan was in town on Monday as part of a political rally at the ranch of Jim Collins. ICTN reporter Catherine Whiteman was there.
President Ronald Reagan was in Irving on Monday to participate in the Republicans' candidate rally at Senate hopeful Jim Collins' Wildbriar Farm. In his message, President Reagan voiced optimism with his economic programs thus far.
Our program, I think, is beginning to work. It's bringing down inflation, it's bringing down interest rates, it's increasing purchasing power, and it's promoting new savings. It's doing the things that must be done.
Despite recent record unemployment figures, those in attendance at the rally appear to agree with the president's optimism. This is Kathy Whiteman for Irving Week in Review.
Irving Independent School District administrators and teachers completed a training workshop this week in computer literacy. ICTN reporter Kathy Whiteman has the story.
The high-tech world of microcomputers is filtering into Irving's classrooms, and Irving Independent School District administrators and teachers are preparing now by participating in a workshop, Computer Literacy for Educators. IISD currently has at least one microcomputer in each of the district's 25 schools. Students from kindergarten to 12th grade have the opportunity to become familiar with the computer through programs such as the Eureka program for academically gifted students and through classes such as data processing. Through the workshop and actual hands-on programming, the workshop participants learned the basics of computers and developed methods of incorporating them into the classroom.
I teach data processing, and so it'll help me be a better teacher in the classroom. But also, we're trying to implement this so that I can bring other teachers into my classroom where I have the computers and introduce them so they'll be more comfortable with the computers.
Next week, you might be driving down O'Connor Boulevard, pull up to a stoplight, look to your left, and see Cher. Yes, Cher, right here in Irving. Next week, the Dallas Communications Complex will house the first production to be filmed at the studio. The film is Silkwood. It's the story of Karen Silkwood, a woman who worked in Oklahoma and supposedly found out some information about a nuclear reactor she shouldn't have. Construction on sets has been going on all summer. Most of the scenes will be shot in the DCC's 15,000 square foot studio, one of the largest such studios outside of the two coasts. City Councilwoman Jackie Townsell is selling her landmark grocery and restaurant. Townsell's Grocery, which is located in the Bear Creek section of Irving, has been serving up soul food for 23 years. Politicians, construction workers, and children from the neighborhood all come together in harmony to enjoy the heaping dishes from Townsell's kitchen. She says that having to balance the work involved with running both a grocery and a restaurant is getting to be a bit much, but that selling it also may not be the answer.
Mixed emotions about the whole thing. I never realized that maybe this was a landmark or anything like that. It just never dawned on me. It's just part of me, you know, and I just never thought about it in that way.
If you do sell it, what will you miss most about this place?
The people that I see every day. That will be one of the things I'll miss, and all the kids, you know, coming in and out. I have been here through 2 generations of kids, and so I will miss it. I know I would miss it.
For those of you who are cringing at the thought of not ever having another home-cooked Southern meal from Townsell's, don't worry, she says she doesn't think she'll be out of the kitchen until next January.
You saw her there, and now she's here with us, Kathy Whiteman. Kathy, I got to say, looking at this picture, the years have been kind to you.
Well, thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. I look at those pictures and think, oh, the things that I did not know that I know now.
What do you remember about that day covering Ronald Reagan?
Well, I'll tell you this. It was my very first story.
Wait, your first story at your covering the president.
And the president, yes. So talk about jumping into the water both feet first, right? I was not a trained journalist. I was told, hey, Kathy, would you mind going over there and doing this? And I said, sure. And I think I've been saying that ever since.
But you came on as a reporter?
No. I was the grants coordinator for Irving Community Television Network and never expected to be a reporter at all. So I jumped in. I think, if I'm remembering the circumstances correctly, I think that Heather Brown wasn't able to go that day. They needed somebody to cover it. I was it, so I went. It was a beautiful day. It was very, very, very intimidating because I was, well, as you could see, I was 6. If we're doing the math here, people, I was 6.
We'll go with that.
Okay, go with 6.
30 years later, you're still at it. Another update, Jackie Townsell you saw there. She ended up not selling her restaurant. So many fun memories, 30 years.
Yeah, so many wonderful memories, I have to say. It's been great.
And you're going to be showing some on About Town as well in the weeks ahead.
Please do tune in, folks, and we'll see some of our favorite About Town stories from 30 years and on. Maybe not so many of me.
The celebration continues, and if there are memories you want to share or something you want to see again, just email us at ICTN@cityofirving.org.